everyone to our live session today. My name is Claire Allman, and I'm a senior marketing manager at MPOWER, and I've been here about 5.5 years. And I have a great esteemed panel today with me. I think they've all been at MPOWER quite a while as well. So I don't know. Are we the dream team, guys?
I think so. Yes, we are.
Well, only Ron laughed there, so I don't know. I need a new joke for next time. But so I typically give it a few minutes for people to join. And I think we actually have about 140 people here today, so I might just go ahead and jump in. So welcome once again. We're here with MPOWER, and today we're doing an application walkthrough of our loan application. We're also going to cover some common questions we receive from people looking to explore MPOWER as an option. And then we're also going to answer some questions about our credit process and what it's like to apply for an MPOWER loan when you're deeper in the process. So if you don't know anything about MPOWER, something I'd like to share is that we're a team of former international students on a mission to make studying abroad a better experience for future international students. And we specifically work with students seeking to study in the US and Canada. And so I'm going to launch a poll for everyone so we can learn a bit more about you. And so that way, launch. So that way we can tailor this webinar a bit more to you. And so you should have received a poll, and I'm going to let our panelists introduce themselves. And so Gizem, starting with you, do you mind introducing yourself for our audience today?
Absolutely. My name is Gizem. I've been here for more than 4 years in the customer relations department as an associate manager. I've been an international student myself, so I'm very happy to be here with you all and help you guys through how we can make this application process better and some tips. So thank you again for having me here, Claire.
Awesome. Thanks, Gizem. So Silver, over to you.
Hi, everyone. This is Silver. I've been working at MPOWER for more than 3 years now. I was also an international student myself, and I'm from China, and I work at the marketing team in MPOWER. So happy to be here to share some benefit and perks that MPOWER has for you.
Awesome. And then Ron, last but never least.
Okay, so hey guys, my name is Ronald and I've been with Empower for around 5 years now. I've worked in the credit team and the underwriting team. And so, yeah, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you guys have for credit, underwriting, or even if you have anything finance related, you can probably just shoot that across. Thanks.
Awesome. So attendees, you will see at the bottom of your screen some different fields or buttons from Zoom. And one of them is Q&A. We have a staff here of chat moderators here to answer any questions you might have over the course of this session. So as you have questions, please go ahead and drop them in that Q&A function. You can ask as many questions as you like at any time. That being said, the earlier you ask a question, the more likely we'll get to it. Sometimes questions last 5 minutes or so because they're at the end, they're a little harder to answer. So we recommend people get their questions in as soon as possible. So I'm going to stop the poll in about 5 seconds, which I think is about right now. And I'll share the results. Great. So 80% of our group today is from Africa. Awesome. And then 3% from East Asia, and then quite a lot as well, 11% from South and Southeast Asia. And then a smattering from other areas as well, including North America. And then a really diverse group in terms of where people are in the student journey. About 1/3 of everyone are still thinking about pursuing their studies. 23% have applied but haven't heard back, or they've been conditionally accepted. 30% have been accepted to study. Congratulations. That is awesome and worth celebrating. And then last, 13% are currently enrolled in a program. The most important question, what is your superpower? Is it flight or invisibility? And 69% have chosen flight. I'm suspicious that will save you a lot on airfare to your chosen school. So good choice there. Reduce the loan you need. And then invisibility, 1/3 went with invisibility, which is also quite useful. And so MPOWER team, I've got to know, flight or invisibility. I'm an invisibility person. I suspect that the US government would come for me if I was flying. But we'll see. Gizem, what about you?
I want to be invisible for sure, and being able to see who is saying what about what and instigate a little bit. So that's me.
Silver, flight or invisibility?
Maybe invisibility. Same reason as Gizem. And also invisibility can allow me to go to concert for free, right?
Oh, I
Movie
did not
theaters.
consider that. You could fly to a new country or just get in for free. Cool. Also useful. Ron.
Yeah, I always was a flight person. I really like flying. So yeah, it's going to be flight for me.
All right, 3 invisibility gals and 1 flight dude. Got it. Awesome. So I'm going to close the poll and we are going to move on with our scheduled content. I see some people just joined, actually quite a few. If you are on the people that just joined, make sure you ask questions in the Q&A field at the bottom, and our chat moderators will get to them, or we will answer them towards the end as well. So please feel free to use the Q&A function. But starting off with Silver today. And so Silver, I give a few details on MPOWER at the beginning, but can you explain MPOWER a bit more to anyone that doesn't know about us? What does MPOWER do, and why do we exist?
Sure. MPOWER was started by 2 international students in 2014. And so Manu and Mike, they're our co-founders. They came to the US to study, to pursue their higher education in the US. And back then, the reason they found MPOWER was because they find out that they couldn't fund by themselves for their study here. And then they also realized that some of their classmates and their friends, family members also could not fund themselves their own study. And they feel that this is really bad news because they want to be independent, and especially as international students, that you cannot get loans like the local students in the US, that you can get a loan from the government, you can get a loan from the local banks. And for this group of students like them, they have to depend on their family, they have to depend on their banks in their local country, but in their own country, usually the banks has to ask for collaterals or co-signers for you to get a loan. So in this case, they find out, oh, this is actually a real issue, and it's a common issue that many students share. And this is the reason they start the company. And so the company's goal is to help international students and DACA students. We also support some refugees that to be able to fund themselves their own studies in the US and Canada.
So you mentioned just a little bit about, the customers we work with. Typically it's international graduate students, but it's also refugees and others that are, underserved and seeking to study in the US. So that's great information about who's eligible. Can you talk a little bit more about what are some of the features of our loan for those that are unfamiliar, what makes us unique?
What makes us unique first is that we are the only private loan company that serves international students and also with a fixed rate interest so far in the world. So we're the best. And who's eligible for our loan? And you need to make sure that you're within 2 years of graduation, which means that if you're going to master degree, and usually the master degree in the US is about one to 2 years, the whole term. And if you are applying for a master degree, and then you can apply for our loan before you even enrolled in your program. Once you get accepted, or you've already decided that which school you want to apply to, you are welcome to start your application with us. And that is the first criteria. And the second criteria is that you need to make sure the school you are going to, or you're already studying at, is supported by us. MPOWER currently support more than 400 universities and colleges in the US and Canada. there's no limitation on the major. So all majors are welcome. If you're in STEM or business major or MBA, you probably have a higher chance to get a higher loan amount, because those type of majors, usually they have like a higher salary projection after you graduate. And so those two are the only criteria we have so far. That's like the hard criteria, but please always check your eligibility on our website and to make sure that you meet all the criteria. And there's another thing about our loan is that, as what I said, that we offer fixed rate, and we are the only loan company offer fixed rate interest loan for international students. Fixed interest rate is actually good, especially in our current economic, where the interest rate are actually going up month by month. So having a fixed rate interest loan means that your interest rate will never going up throughout the whole long term. So it's really beneficial for you to plan your future repayment, and also being in a very lower risk and stable situation with your loan. That's another perks about MPOWER. If you already started to thinking about applying, and maybe you are thinking about like what amount should I apply, and actually for each application, we allow the minimum of $2,001 and up to a lifetime of $100,000. So lifetime you cannot exceed $100,000, but for each application, the maximum is $50,000 for one academic period.
Awesome. So Silver, you did a wonderful job of explaining some of the financial benefits. It's fixed rate, which is unique. You can go as low as 2,000 or as much as 100K. So pretty flexible for whatever a student needs. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the extra features, such as no cosigner, no collateral, and a few of the other things that our students report really loving about our product?
Sure. Yeah, that is another good feature about MPOWER. That MPOWER, that we do not need collateral or cosigner or credit history if you don't have one. No, like if you want to get a loan from the banks, usually that banks will ask you for your collateral, that is usually your house property, or like other stuff that has value that the bank recognized. But with us, we do not ask for that, and we also do not ask you to have a cosigner. So it's okay that if you want to apply the loan all by yourself, and this is really beneficial if you don't have sponsor from your family or other sponsors. And also, another one is that we do not require credit history if you don't have one, because we all know that credit history that does not cross borders. Normally, people that only have credit history in their own country, and you don't have credit history in the US or Canada if you haven't been living here. And as international students, that you probably this is probably your first time come to the US or Canada. So it's very highly chance that you do not have a credit history. In this case, MPOWER is the best option for you, because we do not ask for those like collateral, cosigner, or credit history in the US or Canada.
Awesome. So Silver, there are about 3 other programs that make MPOWER really special: the Past Success, the Referral Program, and the Scholarship Program. Talk about those extra features in brief, and then I think our chat moderators can share some links for anyone that wants to learn more about them.
the Path to Success and referral program and scholarship. Yes. And those are MPOWER's perks. What is Path to Success program? MPOWER wants to help our borrowers or our customers to be successful in your life. So once you apply for MPOWER, that we will try our best to help you to get a good job or internship while you are in school or when you graduate. So Path to Success, we offer free career counseling, and we offer free one-on-one mock interviews and also resume proofreading to help you to prepare for your future interviews and also your future job applications. Because we are only successful if you are successful. And so that is our Path to Success program, and that's free to everyone. And Claire also mentioned scholarships. This is actually MPOWER's signature offering for everyone, not only to our customers, our borrowers. We offer it to all the international students, DACA students, refugee that goes to one of MPOWER support schools. We have multiple scholarships that offer to different group of people. And one is Global Citizens Scholarship. That is our signature one that is offered to everyone. And we also have a Woman in STEM Scholarship. That if you are a woman, then you study in STEM major, please feel free to apply. And we also have a scholarship for MBA program. And we also have a monthly scholarship series that with different theme. For example, I think maybe next month we're going to have a Thanksgiving scholarship. You're welcome to apply. For each scholarship, we offer up to $10,000 in funds, and we will disperse the fund direct to your school. Another thing is our referral program. This is actually really good because everyone can enroll, even though maybe you're thinking about coming to this webinar is because your kids or your friends are actually thinking about getting a loan. Maybe this is not for yourself, but if you refer them, and you can still get referral benefit in cash gift card. So how it works is that if you refer anyone, your friends, your acquaintance, your family member, you will get $300 prepaid card. And your friend, once they complete their application, and they will get $100 in prepaid gift card. So, and also this month is a special month. We are celebrating Halloween in the US. So we actually increase this reward to $400 for each successful referral. So this month, before November 1st, now you only have 5 days. So in the next 5 days, refer anyone, and if they complete their application with us, you will get $400 in prepaid gift card, and your friend, they will get $100 gift card. That's all, I think.
Thanks so much, Silver. So that is a very sweet offer for $400 instead of $300 for the referral program. Something I'll highlight is that the person just needs to start an application with your information for you to be eligible. So have all your friends start their applications now for your chance to win a pretty penny when they complete the application later on. But moving along, Gizem, I think the meat of today's presentation is with you. And so if you are ready to do an application demo, you are up.
Let's get started. I'll share my screen right away. All right. So what are the application stages in a nutshell? First of all, you need to go to our website and start an application. You need to check your eligibility. And Silver already talked about what eligibility criteria, right? Graduating within 2 years. It needs to be a school that we support, and there are different majors. So we will need to, after looking at all of those, we'll get to know you a little bit more. So how and where we can reach you, who you are, your immigration status. So you don't have to have a visa in the US or Canada yet to get our loan. So if you have it, though, we would like to know a little bit more. If you don't, we have supporting system, which I'll talk about it when we're going through the application. Understanding what your major is, your program, your school. Did you take any tests, English test, standardized test scores? Do you have any previous employment experience, or are you getting employment experience that is like a job offer? Then we want to know your financial standing, from costs to what you have available to yourself, and then we can figure out how MPOWER can help you further. Then the next step is your ID with your valid government photo ID with your photo, so that we can move the application to the next step for review. So we're going to deep dive into these. So you're going to see, and it's customized for your name. That's great. So depends on what your situation is. If you're thinking about studying, or you just applied to school, you didn't get accepted, you can start an application without an admission letter. However, for us to make a decision, we'll definitely need that. However, you can start an application without that. But if you're accepted to school, but you're not enrolled, meaning maybe you just got accepted, but you didn't start your program, or you just started, like you didn't finish one semester at least. And when you say I'm currently enrolled, you finish one semester most of the time, or you just started. If you're transferring, it means that let's say you're going to go to school for a master's, maybe you're in your second year, but first year you were in a different school. You can mention that so we can actually tailor your experience according to what is required, so we don't ask more questions than required. So one of the things is, right, when you're checking eligibility, you need to be graduating within 2 years. So your expected graduation date will be an important piece here. Just your program end date. And it doesn't have to be the graduation date, because some things can change. We need an approximate. So if it's a master's degree for 18 months, you can count, because your school normally will give it to you, or even in the website, you can have this information and then plug it accordingly. So we understand if this application is eligible, and understanding your costs and other aspects to be able to review it thoroughly. GPA, you will not need this if you just got accepted. This is literally for the university that you're applying a loan for. So if you finish at least one semester, we would need your GPA. Normally, US and Canadian schools can interchange, but normally it's between 0 to 4. So please don't put your previous degree GPA from that angle. So we want it for the current university. Then you choose which degree you're going to go with: master's, bachelor's. So for bachelor's, right, if you're already studying, if it's a 4-year program, normally that's what it is. You would be eligible from your 3rd year. So just please ensure that you go with the eligibility criteria to understand if this would be eligible. And there are other degrees here that you'll see: MBA, JD, whatever is relevant to you, please apply for that. Before anything else, right, we also need to get to know you. Before this, though, we also have the school section, right? So there are different campuses, there are different universities. My suggestion will be, like, if you're typing it down, you don't see it, or if it says re-enter, or if it's just like giving you a red mark, try it again, and please choose the right school and campus. Because if you're choosing the wrong school and the documents don't match, you will need to start a new application. So for each school, you need a new application. So it's very crucial that you choose the right school and campus for us to process your application seamlessly. Okay. Then you're going to get your name. My last name is not MPOWER, but I'm like Claire MPOWER. I'm going with that. You put your name as it's shown on your passport. This is more preferred, because with your school as well, the name needs to match, right? So we don't want any hiccups there. One of the things is, of course, you need to put your citizenship country. per your passport. If you have dual citizenship even, you need to ensure that which one you will go with, because everything will get along together. Your phone number, so whatever that will be, that is the most updated phone number so we can reach out to you. Your permanent address. So this is a good one. So if you're in your home country already, you will put that mailing address. If you're in the US or Canada, please ensure that you don't put US or Canadian address and permanent address. This is your citizenship country address. So if you're in a certain country and then you're already in the US, maybe on a student visa, please ensure that you put that as US address, because we will ask you, do you have a US address? Yes, then you put it there. Permanent address has to be your citizenship country address. This is a very crucial point to process your application faster than normal. And one of the good news, you can actually contact us through WhatsApp. So that's a very good feature that I see here. And if you have a WhatsApp number, please put that there so we can accommodate your request accordingly. Again, so when we go to immigration status, you see here like non-citizen, asylum seeker, we cater to different immigration statuses. So if you're going to be, if you're not a refugee, asylum seeker, literally, you're not a US citizen, US permanent resident, DACA, please choose non-citizen. So basically any other visa type that would be applicable for US, for example. If you're an asylum seeker or refugee, please choose that as well, because there are certain parts of the application that we will need to verify certain things. And to remind again, if you don't have a visa yet, that's perfectly fine. One of the features that I would like to add from my end is if your loan is approved, we support you with support letter or other immigration support letters free of charge to help you with the financial support. So you don't have to have it, but if you have it, we love the proactiveness for sure. And if you don't have it, you say no. And if you have it, we have different drop downs here that you'll see. Whatever is applicable to you, please choose. If you cannot find it, you can always choose other and type it there, and we will help you out with this, and no problem at all. The other thing is, like we're talking about major, so you chose your degree. Please choose the most accurate major. You may not have, we're not going to have 500 of them, unfortunately. So whatever is the closest, that will be fine. When you have your admission letter and other documents, we'll be able to verify that. If you have dual degree, please let us know so we can review your application accordingly. Please ensure that you know if your degree is a STEM degree. If you're not sure, you can always check with the school. Even most of the time, even the university puts it on the website. So I suggest that you look at it. So if you say yes, but we don't have verification in a certain way, that can also delay it. So please ensure that it's a STEM degree before going forward. Then we want to know, are you a full-time student, part-time? So that we understand how many credits you're taking. This goes into the eligibility as well, right? Is it extending your degree? And if you have GPA, let's say you're already enrolled, we would like to know more about your cumulative GPA. So if you finish 3 semesters, the average of that, and your transcript will show actually cumulative GPA. If you have a different type of scoring system, Canada may have it. Actually, on the university website, I realized it like a year ago or something. They actually have a converter on their website, like GPA calculator. So you can just get that and then change it out and then put that in there. And we want to know if it's on campus, online, hybrid. We want to ensure that for online and hybrids, it's not a no, right? We just want to ensure that you will be studying in the country while you're finishing that, right? On campus is already self-explanatory. So that's why it's important that we know where you're standing from online, hybrid, and on campus. So after this is a good one. I like this one. So what grade level will you be in? So you need to think about the upcoming, right? Whatever, like, let's say if you applied for in summertime and you don't have classes, right? what is upcoming for you? Are you going to be first year, second year? We also put third, fourth, and fifth year graduate if it extended, or maybe you're doing PhD, right? It's also a graduate degree. So please put whatever is necessary here so we understand, like, so the application is in sync. So the most important thing in the beginning is everything is in sync. So your documents also align with what you applied so that the process actually is faster. All right. One of the things is we talked about test scores. Doesn't have to be that you took the test, right? There's standardized tests, for example, like GRE, GMAT, MCAT, SAT, if it was bachelor's. If you didn't take it, you can say I didn't take it. But if you have taken it, it's a good thing to mention it here, right? We will, whatever you put here, right? We will need proof of it. Of course, if you haven't taken it, we cannot get proof of that. But if you took it, it may actually help your application depending on the situation. One thing that we put as a help thing for you is, you see the ranges, because I remember when I took as an international student, I took GMAT, like I cannot remember numbers anymore. It's just like out of my head. So we give you score range, minimum and maximum. So you can be like, okay, that was it. So I can put this so we get the accurate answer for this. For language tests, TOEFL, IELTS, Duolingo is a new one that is uprising. But if you have taken it, please let us know and provide the proof, right? So at this stage, you don't have to provide proof, but always have that in mind that I'm putting this, I probably need to provide proof. So just please also ensure that that happens. If it's waived, you haven't taken it, also mention that so we have a seamless process. But if you have taken it, again, I'm going to tell it before I go to the next stage, please ensure that you let us know and think about the proof perspective. Employment. So maybe you didn't start your program because you can apply 12 months prior to your program start too, right? Because you want to plan earlier. Let's say now we're in fall. So fall runs from August to December for schools. So let's say you're going to start next fall and you want to plan, and we have applicants. They're like, I got my admission letter. I got everything. I want to know what I can get. And that's perfect, right? It's early plan. Wonderful. They may be currently employed, you know, like you're not going, you may not stop your life for a year to go. So you're maybe collecting money for your living expenses, however that works. Please provide any relevant employment history. When I say relevant, if you're going to do chemical engineering, please provide information relevant to that so that we can review your application accordingly from past and future potential, right? So like what happened in your past, what can happen in your future, it will give us a better idea. If you're not currently employed, that's not a done deal, right? If you're not employed, it's okay. Please also provide it. And if you were employed in the past, any relevant information, please provide it. If you don't have any employment history, that's perfectly fine too, because we look at things very holistically. We just want to ensure that we capture everything relevant to you to be able to review it in details and thoroughly. Okay. Now we're in the money side, right? Financials, this is very crucial. One of the things is that we need to know your costs so that we understand, okay, these are the costs until graduation, and they have funds available now or other ways, and I will talk about that very soon. And how much can MPOWER help with, right? So that we can understand your assets to liabilities, I call it. Like, I know it's a little bit like a jargon there, but like what comes in, what comes out, so that we understand that this loan is not a burden to you. So here, what we made easy is we ask for 1-year costs. So you don't need to calculate, I have a 2-year program. Should I multiply? So you can only put 1-year cost. So what you will put is entering your tuition costs, cost of living, and additional costs like books, etc., and your health insurance costs, because that's a cost as well. Because depending on the situation, MPOWER loans can be used for other expenses if it's okay with the school, right? So we need to ensure that you put this, and these are all in US dollars. That needs to be put here. So if you put 1 year, you don't need to do any calculation after that. What we will need is your semesters left, right? Because we know which year you're in. You need to let us know, I have 2 semesters left, right? I have 3 semesters. We're going to do the calculation for you. So if it's 3 semesters, system will automatically calculate 1.5 years, right? If it's 4 semesters, 2 years. 5 semesters means 2.5, then it's not eligible. So just also remember that if you have a trimester or like a quarter system, please try to convert that to semester or a year. So you know that's your yearly amount. And when you're putting semesters, that may help as well. Then what we will look at is your funding. So when we say funding, whatever is available to you, right? So one of the things is that you can have scholarship from the school, and congratulations. You may have family helping, friends helping. You may have personal funds. Maybe you're working for someone and they're going to do tuition reimbursement. Whatever that is, please provide that information in US dollars, whatever you have, with always think about the proof, right? Because if you have scholarship, we need to know that you have that scholarship in documentation later on. So please ensure that that happens. After you put everything, we calculate everything for you. So we know what your financial plan is now. Your cost in US dollars is that. What is your additional funding sources in US dollars? Then we're like, okay, we know your expenses and whatever comes in, this is what you require. If this is correct, please go with it. If not, go back to your plan and see if this is correct. Then you will request a loan amount, right? Up to 100,000 we talked about. I will clarify that in a second. But you can use your funding gap here as a starting point. But if you think that funding gap is not correct, we need to revisit. I mean, you need to revisit it so that we don't need to revisit it later. Here, this is very crucial. If you're good with it, you put 18,000, they're good. Let's say you need it for 1 semester. What about you need it for 2 semesters, which is an academic year? If it will be more than $50,000, right? You can apply for 2 semesters, which is an academic year, in 1 application. Let's say your need is $70,000. It can be in 1 application, but $50,000 is per semester. Just to reiterate that, if it's to have it more than that, it needs to be 2 semesters on academic year. So this helps you a lot to see what is needed. Then last but not least, so we start our journey, your identification. If you have a passport, that's great, because as an international student, you'll need a passport to come to the US or Canada. If you don't have a passport, that's also perfectly fine. We give you options, like, do you have a national ID? Do you have a government ID, driver's license? Just to be aware, you need to have your photo so we can see your great face there. We need to see your date of birth and its valid document and your full name. And it needs to, like, the information needs to match your passport in general. If you have an expired passport, my suggestion is to apply for it ASAP so that that can be uploaded before the final review. So after this, let's say everything is good, you may be getting a conditional offer directly. It may or may not, right? Depends on the written application review from this, and this is automated. So if you get this, you can go to your dashboard, look at your actual documents, because this is the start, right? Then you can upload your documents. So what we did is, whatever you need, we gather, then you can upload your documents that match your application. So this is not the final, like when you see conditional offer, please ensure that this is not the final offer. We need documents to be able to give that to you. Okay. That's it from me, actually, Claire.
You sounded almost surprised that you were done.
I know. I'm like, I just want to go. Like, can I go with
Like,
more?
wait, that's faster than I thought. It's a very streamlined application. Always always great to hear. And so for those that might have joined a little late, Silver earlier in the conversation introduced MPOWER and talked about loan benefits. Gizem just went through our application and what you need to know to apply and how to apply. And now we have Ron here, who's part of our underwriting team, who's going to answer some of your questions about what the underwriting process looks like and what he does. Well, maybe not specifically what he does, but yeah, close enough. So Ron, one of the most common questions we get is about when to apply for a loan. What is your recommendation about when's the best time to apply? And then there's a second question about what if they miss the ideal time? What do they do then?
Okay, so best time to apply would be as soon as you get your admission letter. You can apply and it'll move your application forward through much quicker. If you miss that, you can apply anytime. You can apply now, you can apply after you start school, you can apply 1 month before school, 1 month after school, 1 month before you graduate. Like there's no real time limit on when you can apply for a loan. And the only reason I say apply early is so that we can get the process started and get everything done so that you guys are not delayed with your admissions or like your payments, anything of that sort. So the earlier you apply, the better is what I would say.
Awesome. And then I know I answered some of these questions earlier in the chat, but you can apply up to 12 months before your program starts. So I saw there are 30% of people here who are still thinking about studying. If your program is under 12 months away, as long as you've applied to school, you're eligible to start your application. The ideal time is when you get the acceptance letter, but if you are an early planner and you're eager to get started, you can definitely start your application as soon as you've applied to your program. Sorry, Ron, I know we have a lot of people who are still exploring on the call there, but here is a question that'll really probably help Ron out. How do people get their application approved as fast as possible? What's your recommendation?
Right, to get your application approved as fast as possible, just make sure all the documents that you submit match the information that you entered in the application. I think that's the most crucial part. That's one of the reasons most things get delayed. One example I can give you, I've seen this happen a lot, I think in around 30% of the applications. The address that you entered, like what Gizem said, the permanent address, it should be your home country address and not your US address. I've seen applications get delayed because of that, because what happens is we reach back out to you, we ask you, okay, is it okay to update this address to your home country address? And that takes like probably 3-4 days back and forth between you and us. And to avoid all that, I would say just make sure all the information that you enter in the application is supported by the documents that you submit.
Great. So what are some other common mistakes, Ron, that you see that you can help our attendees avoid?
Yeah, so the first one I already said, the address one. The second one would be wrong start date and graduation dates. I've seen graduation dates that are actually before the start date, which shouldn't be possible. That's one. Second one is like a wrong major selection. So like, for example, if you're studying management information systems versus data science, please try to keep those two separate. Like data science is a different degree and management information systems is a different degree. Even though they're pretty closely related, like it's still different. So that can also cause delays in your application because again, we'll reach back out to you if it doesn't match the admission letter, and then there's a lot of back and forth that goes in there. I already went through the documentation one. If there's not enough documentation to support your application, it's probably reach out to you again and ask you to provide the supporting documentation that's required. And the last one and the most important one, if you say you have $10,000 in your bank account on the application, please make sure you're also able to submit a bank statement that shows that same $10,000. It's fine if you don't have it. If you have 5,000, just say 5,000. If you have zero, just say zero, and we'll still review your application. But the delays happen where you say something on the application and then we are not able to verify it with the documents. So that can cause delays.
Awesome. So what I heard essentially is that whatever you say on that application, we'll later ask a document for, and most of the holdup is when the document and the application don't match. So everyone here, if you can just confirm that anything in your application is true and verifiable in your document, you are ahead of most people that apply for a loan. So that is the number one way to get ahead. And so I actually saw a lot of these questions too, Ron, in the Q&A. we have people that that are applying to multiple schools. What should they do if they're applying for multiple schools, and what do they do later if they want to change their school?
Yeah, sure. So if you're applying for multiple schools, that's completely fine. We'll give you support letters to all the schools that you apply for if you are eligible for them. And once you actually decide which school you're going to, say you got 4 support letters from us, you decide that you want to go to one school, you can tell us to cancel the other 3, and then we'll move forward with the one school that you select and give you the final loan documentation for that school.
Awesome. So thank you, Ron. I'm going to actually open up the questions to everyone in the panel right now. So Silver, you are back up. We have some people that want to know what the loan can be used for in the US and then what the loan can be used for in Canada. I know there's some differences.
Sure. So you can use our loan for both, in most cases, for both of your tuition and your living expenses. And you can apply for a loan as low as $2,001 in one application and up to $50,000 in one application. And there's a lifetime limit of $100,000 loan amount. And in most of the US schools, you can apply for a loan. You can use it in both tuition and living expenses. But in Canada, the situation will be a little bit different. And please, you have to contact the financial aid office and make sure that you can use your loan in both tuition and living expense. Because I know that some of our schools in Canada, that they do not accept loan for living expenses. But overall, the rule of thumb is just always talk to your financial aid office before you apply or while you're applying.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the school determines how you can use your loan. And so it's worth talking to your program to figure out how they restrict or how they allow you to use the loan. It's different for every program. Gazem, I think there's some people that want some more information about the financial gap in the application process, or what to do if you have a funding gap and how does that section work. Do you mind re-highlighting and explaining that section a little bit more in detail?
Sure, definitely. So you have your costs, right? We're looking at it from until graduation, whatever costs you have. Then we're also looking at what funds are available to you, right? Not from MPOWER, whatever is available to you, like scholarship, family, friends, employer support, right? So basically what we do is your cost until graduation deducted by whatever is available to you gives us financial gap. So if your cost until graduation is $100,000 and you have $40,000 available to you from different sources, 100 minus 40 is 60,000. So basically you need $60,000 from MPOWER. Just as a reminder, the maximum we can provide is $100,000 in USD. So then, because you know your financial gap, you can request a loan amount accordingly. So we can say, so your financial gap is 60,000. So you can start asking for the loan amount from there. Just to remind again, 50,000 is maximum per semester. So if it's 60,000, it's probably going to be 2 semesters. So just to look at it from that angle, costs until graduation to funding until graduation available to you.
Thank you, Kazem. So, similarly, Ron, people want to make changes to their application. I see school changes, I see loan amount changes, I see a lot of changes. What should people do if they apply for a loan but want to make a change later? I know the answer is not submit another application.
Yeah, the answer is not submit another application. What you'll have to do is you'll have to reach out to us using the contact us form. I think someone can share it on the chat, and you'll reach out to your relationship manager, and they'll be able to update like whatever information you want. If you want to change your school, if you want to change your whatever you want to change, they'll be able to do it. The only caveat here is you can change anything you want until before your loan is approved. But once your loan has already been approved, then you may need to start another application. It depends on what kind of change you want to make. If you only want to change the loan amount for that particular school, that's fine. We can change that after the approval as well. But if you want to like change your school, say from, I'll give you an example here. Like say you're going to New York University and your loan is approved for New York University, but then you decide to go to George Washington University, uh, and your loan is already approved. In those cases, we'll need a new application. You can't just change like your school from New York University to George Washington after your loan is approved. We can do that before it's approved, but not after.
God, I think that's probably a really, really important distinction. And so one thing I want to call out is if you know who your relationship manager is and you have emails from them because you're far along enough in the process, it is most likely faster just to write them back if you know who your relationship manager is. If you don't yet have one, definitely use the contact us form that was shared in the chat in terms of just speed of hearing back from us. Great. So I know, I know we're in our last little bit of time. Let's get one or two more questions in before we close up. Let's see, what's a common question? Oh, interesting. Here's a few questions about the referral program, which I will cover for everyone. So I have some people that are referring students to MPOWER's loan, thank you, but they want to know how to get paid. So the gift card is sent once the person you referred has submitted the app and all of the documents. So once that occurs, we will pay you within 30 days, I believe. The date is on the website as well, so you can look and see what the terms are there. But if your friend didn't list you in the application, for example, we won't be able to pay you because they didn't list your name. The most common reason for non-payment is your friend didn't include your information in the application, and we're not allowed to share private information with anyone but your friend. So if you're referring people to MPOWER, you might want to check with them to make sure that they included your information on the application if you haven't been paid yet. So that's my recommendation here. As a reminder for anyone that joined late, if you refer a friend to MPOWER and they start their application in the month of October, you can get $400 instead of the normal $300. So that's a lot of money and there is no limit. So refer all of your friends. Friends refer friends to MPOWER. And my panelists thought that was funny and likely no one else did.
I can agree because that's how I got this job.
Friends refer friends to MPOWER. Yeah, maybe that's the new marketing message. Corny, but it works. So we're going to close up our session today. But before we end, panelists, I have a question I want to ask all of you. So actually, it's two questions. I want to hear from you. What is one piece of advice you have for everyone here if you can only give them one piece of advice? And the second question is, why is MPOWER the best? I heard all of you say MPOWER is the best. We know it's true. And so I'm going to reverse order. Ron, I'm going to start with you.
Oh, okay. So first thing, what was the first question? What's
one
the
piece of
advice that I have? Yeah. The piece of advice that I have is when you guys come to the US or Canada or wherever you're going, like try to be open, try to talk to new people. It's going to be a very, very different, it's going to be a change for most people. And it's just keep yourself open, talk to new people, interact with as many people as you can. Talk to your professors. They really are able to help you out and also give you good advice about like campus, things like that. Like my professors in school gave me free hockey tickets, so I went to watch hockey games, things like that. So yeah, always do that. So that's my first piece of advice. And second one was, why do I like MPOWER? Or like, why is MPOWER the best? Okay, so MPOWER is the best because I think everyone here at the company really cares for what we do. We really want to help international students. That's one of the main reasons I really like the company. And I really don't think there's any real competitor with us. Like everyone else has variable interest rates and we are the only fixed interest rate provider. So I think that's a huge differentiator, especially in this rising interest rate environment. Interest rates are going up like crazy and MPOWER is still sticking with the fixed interest rate. So I think that's another great reason that why MPOWER is like one of the best places.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron. So in true reverse order, Gazem, you are up. Why, what a piece of advice do you have and why is MPOWER the best?
Yes, I think I mentioned this a lot. I wish I was more proactive when I was an international student. Time flies when you have fun, for sure, and you're studying a lot, but what about your future, right? To be in the US, For example, you need to be able to get a job, right? Or optical practical training. You'll learn more about it if you already didn't look into it. It's important to be proactive from the beginning with your international student office, go to career fairs and hone your skills so that you can have a upper advantage compared to other people, because it's a very competitive thing to worry about. So while you're having fun and sinking everything in, please also think from that angle. And why Empower? So difficult to choose from all these great things, right? One thing though is building your credit history in the US. This is going to be very important for you if you're making on-time payments with this loan, even to get a car loan, get your own place, to rent a place, right? You will definitely need that credit history building to be self-sufficient. So that is one of the best things I think that you can get, and with an education loan. So that's also for your future.
Thanks, Gizem. And then Silver, your one piece of advice, and then why is Empower the best?
I think Ron and Gizem all said some like really great things, and I agree with them. And my one piece of advice is that if you decide to have start an application with Empower, and also you very likely like get approved, please make sure that you can enjoy all the benefits that we offer. For example, the referral program that refer your friends and claim the cash gift cards. Maybe like every month, just thinking about if you actually get $400 every month, that's going to be very good, right? And also enrolling in our Path to Success program, I see that there's a comment people like talking about, wow, Empower actually do want to help students get jobs. Yes, and that's free for all our borrowers. So please join in this program. Also scholarship, if you believe that you write a good essay and you have a great story to share, definitely join our scholarship program. And there are all the benefits we offer to our customers. And don't just start an application with our own business, and also claim all those free and beneficial stuff that we're actually offering to our students. And why Empower is the best, I think, is because, as what Ron said, we don't really have a true competitor, because we are the only one that actually care about our students, and offering fixed interest rate loan and with no limitation on majors, and that's a big thing. And with no limitation on degrees, that's another big thing. So yeah, just trust us and start application.
Awesome. So thank you, Empower panelists, for joining me today. It was a blast as always. And then to our attendees, we'll send an email after this with the recording of the webinar, the deck that Gizem went through, and then you can also find this on YouTube. We also send out a survey and we read all of the answers. We love your feedback. What sessions do you want to see? What can we do better? What did we do well? It really helps us make these programs great for you, but also future students. So please complete that survey so we know how we can improve as well. So thanks again. If you were unable to get your question answered or asked a question towards the end, look at the links in the chat function real quick and copy them. We'll stay on for another minute or two just so you can copy those. The contact us form is there, as well as a lot of great information to answer additional questions. And then we'll see you all in 2 weeks. But thanks again. Bye, y'all.